The roar of the crowd is deafening. Thousands of fans are on their feet, their voices blending into an electrifying storm of cheers and anticipation. The octagon stands in the center, bathed in bright lights, the battleground where legends are made and myths are shattered. But tonight, something different is in the air. This isn't just another fight. This is a collision of two worlds, a showdown that no one ever thought possible. On one side, the undefeated, relentless force of nature, Khabib Nurmagomedov. On the other, the monstrous powerhouse, Brock Lesnar. The arena pulses with raw energy as the two warriors prepare to clash, a fight that has sparked endless debates, theories, and speculation. What happens when an unstoppable grappler meets an immovable beast? The answer is about to unfold. Khabib paces inside the cage, his expression cold and unreadable. He has faced the best strikers, the strongest wrestlers, and the most dangerous submission artists. But this is uncharted territory. Across from him stands a man whose very presence radiates destruction. Brock Lesnar, the former UFC heavyweight champion, a freak athlete with monstrous strength, stares him down. He's built like a machine, his frame almost absurdly large compared to Khabib's. For years, people have argued about size versus skill, power versus technique. But tonight, the theories are being put to the ultimate test. The weight difference is undeniable. Lesnar, cutting down to 265 pounds, still looks like a tank, while Khabib, who has dominated the lightweight division, is stepping into a fight that few would dare take. But there's a reason Khabib has never been beaten. His game is more than just wrestling. It's pressure, control, suffocation. He doesn't just win. He breaks his opponents, drains them until they have nothing left. Yet, for all his dominance, he has never faced someone who can throw him across the cage like a rag doll. He has never had to deal with the raw, terrifying strength that Brock Lesnar brings. The referee calls them to the center. The tension is thick, every heartbeat in the arena synchronized in suspense. Brock smirks, a slight nod as if acknowledging the absurdity of this fight. Khabib doesn't flinch. His focus is laser sharp, his body coiled like a spring, ready to explode. The world is watching, every fan, every analyst, every fighter holding their breath, waiting for the first move. Some say Khabib's relentless grappling will overwhelm even the bigger man. Others believe that all it will take is one of Lesnar's sledgehammer fists to end the fight in seconds. The moment stretches, every second feeling like an eternity. The referee gives the final instructions, and as the fighters step back, the crowd erupts once more. This is more than just a fight. It's a battle of styles, a test of limits, a war between two forces that were never meant to collide. The bell rings, and in the blink of an eye, the storm begins. Lesnar moves first, a quick step forward that sends a ripple of tension through the arena. He's used to dictating the pace, overwhelming his opponents with sheer force before they even have time to react. But Khabib isn't like anyone he's faced before. He doesn't flinch, doesn't hesitate. Instead, he circles, light on his feet, eyes locked onto the beast in front of him. He's analyzing, reading every twitch in Lesnar's massive frame, searching for the slightest opening. He knows he can't afford to take a clean shot from a man who has dropped giants with a single punch. But he also knows that every storm has an eye, every monster has a weakness. The crowd is split, some chanting for the Russian warrior, others roaring for the unstoppable juggernaut. For years, fans have debated how Khabib's relentless grappling would hold up against a larger, stronger opponent. Now, there's no more guessing. The answer is coming in real time. Lesnar lunges, closing the distance in an instant, his hands reaching for Khabib like a predator snatching its prey. But Khabib slips just out of reach, his reflexes razor sharp. He isn't playing Lesnar's game. He's staying patient, forcing the bigger man to expend energy. For a moment, there's an eerie calm, just two fighters locked in a deadly chess match. But then Lesnar explodes forward again, and this time he makes contact. He wraps his massive arms around Khabib and lifts him off the ground as if he weighs nothing. The entire arena gasps as Khabib is hoisted into the air. It's a terrifying sight, something no one has ever done to him before. Brock drives him backward, slamming him against the cage with the force of a truck. The metal rattles. This is what everyone feared. If Lesnar can impose his strength, can Khabib survive? But survival isn't something Khabib just hopes for. It's something he's built for. Even as the impact jolts through his body, his mind is already working, his instincts kicking in. He shifts, his legs locking around Lesnar's lower body, keeping himself from being lifted again. He starts working his hands inside, fighting for an underhook, refusing to be manhandled. This is where Khabib's years of training in Dagestan's rugged mountains come into play. He knows how to fight out of bad positions. He knows how to turn the tide. Lesnar tightens his grip, his massive muscles straining as he tries to crush Khabib against the fence. But something isn't right. For all his strength, he can feel the resistance, the subtle shifts in Khabib's body positioning. He isn't ragdolling him the way he expected. He's starting to realize that size alone won't win this fight. From the outside, the fight looks like a brutal test of strength, but inside the cage, it's a battle of willpower and technique. Khabib's breathing is steady, controlled. He's waiting, feeling Lesnar's movements, knowing that with great strength comes great energy expenditure. And then, in a flash, Khabib strikes. He hooks Lesnar's leg and twists his body, creating just enough space to slip out of the hold. Before Lesnar can react, Khabib circles away, resetting in the center of the cage. The crowd erupts. For the first time, there's a flicker of uncertainty in Lesnar's eyes. He's used to breaking his opponents early, but Khabib is still standing, still fighting, still pressing forward. The Russian doesn't need power to win. He needs control, and now he's beginning to find it. But just as momentum seems to shift, Lesnar steps in again, this time with something different. He throws a punch, a hammer of a right hand that whistles through the air. Khabib ducks, barely missing disaster, but the force of the punch alone sends a gust of wind past his ear. He knows he can't afford to take one of those. But he also knows something else. Lesnar is starting to swing wildly. That means frustration. That means opportunity. The energy in the arena is electric, each moment more intense than the last. Fans know they're witnessing something special, a battle between two forces that should never have met. Yet here they are, locked in combat. The question remains, will technique overcome brute force, or will the sheer size and power of Lesnar finally prove too much? Neither man is backing down, neither willing to break first. And as the next exchange begins, the world holds its breath, knowing that the next few seconds could change everything. The fight has shifted. Where Khabib's relentless grappling once seemed to be the key to survival, it's now clear that Lesnar is beginning to adapt, to find his rhythm. Every strike is more dangerous than the last, every movement heavier. Lesnar has stopped trying to force the fight into his world of power. Instead, he's becoming more calculated, more controlled. Khabib knows that at any moment, he could be on the receiving end of a devastating blow. He's fought monsters before, but none with this level of raw, unfiltered strength. The next move could decide it all. As Khabib steps back, watching Lesnar's every twitch, the crowd is on the edge of their seats. They've never seen him this cautious, this wary. But Khabib's mind is moving faster than ever. He's analyzing, adapting. This fight is no longer just about survival. It's about outsmarting the giant. And that's exactly what he does. With a sudden shift, Khabib charges, closing the distance between them in an instant. Lesnar reacts too late, swinging wildly with a right hook. But Khabib is already inside his range. The world holds its breath as Khabib grabs hold of Lesnar's body, pulling him into a clinch. It's a familiar move, one that has put countless opponents in Khabib's deadly grip. But just as Khabib starts to execute the takedown, something unexpected happens. Lesnar, with a roar of defiance, lifts Khabib off the ground and slams him against the cage again, harder this time. Khabib's body crashes into the steel, and the impact leaves him dazed for a brief moment. The crowd gasps. This is the moment many feared. The question has always been, could Khabib handle the physicality of a man like Lesnar? Now, they have their answer. But Khabib isn't down. He's not out. He pushes himself off the cage, his eyes narrowing in focus. For a split second, the world seems to stand still. Lesnar, expecting Khabib to be rattled, lunges again, attempting to trap him with a clinch of his own. But Khabib, in a flash, slips under Lesnar's arms, getting behind him like a shadow. Lesnar stumbles forward, and Khabib, with lightning speed, grabs the giant's waist and hoists him into the air. The crowd erupts as Khabib, seemingly unbothered by the size difference, takes Lesnar's back, working his arms around the monster's torso. The arena is shaking. The two fighters are in a brutal game of tug-of-war, each man locked in a struggle for control. Khabib begins to maneuver Lesnar toward the ground, using his balance and leverage against the brute strength of the beast. It's as if the very fabric of reality is bending in this cage. Could Khabib actually take the bigger man down? Could the undefeated warrior, the man who has never been beaten, actually be about to do the unthinkable? But there's more at play here than just technique. Khabib's body is beginning to feel the strain of this intense battle. The power of Lesnar's slams has taken its toll. The giant isn't just fighting for victory, he's fighting for survival. And suddenly, as the two grapple for position, a twist no one saw coming unfolds. Khabib's grip falters, just for a moment. It's a minor slip, but it's enough for Lesnar to capitalize on. With a sudden burst of power, Lesnar throws Khabib off of him and pushes forward. Khabib stumbles backward. In that instant, everything changes. Lesnar rushes in with a devastating combination of punches, his fists landing with bone-shattering force. Khabib's face is a mask of determination, but even he can't avoid the raw power of Lesnar's assault. Blood begins to trickle from Khabib's nose, his breath quickening. This is no longer about technique. This is about survival. And for the first time in his career, Khabib is on the defensive, forced to retreat. The momentum is all with Lesnar now. From the outside, the fans are witnessing something extraordinary. For all of Khabib's dominance in the UFC, this fight is exposing vulnerabilities no one has seen before. The once untouchable champion, known for his immaculate control, is now finding himself in a position he's rarely been in, on the ropes. Lesnar's power is undeniable, and with every swing, every slam, the fight becomes more brutal, more desperate. The stakes have never been higher. If Khabib can't regain control soon, this might be the first time his unbeaten record is truly threatened. But there's a change in Khabib's eyes. A flicker of resolve. He's been pushed before, backed into corners, and faced with impossible odds. And yet, he's always found a way to come out on top. That same resolve is back, burning brighter than ever. As Lesnar swings another crushing punch, Khabib ducks under it, and with an almost supernatural level of speed, shoots for a single-leg takedown. He's going all in. Just as the takedown begins to take shape, Lesnar fights it with everything he has, but Khabib is relentless. The two men are locked in an all-out struggle. One of them will break. The other will rise. The outcome of this war will be decided in mere seconds, but the question remains, who will outlast the other? The fight is far from over, and both warriors know that the next move could be the one that defines their legacy forever. In that instant, as Khabib digs deep and secures the leg, everything slows down. The roar of the crowd fades into a distant hum, and all that's left is the struggle between two men at the peak of their respective powers. Lesnar's resistance is fierce, his body like a wall, but Khabib's determination is a different kind of force. It's calculated, relentless, and patient. As Khabib pushes forward, his grip tightens, and with a final burst of energy, he yanks Lesnar's leg out from under him. The giant stumbles, his balance broken for just a moment, and that's all Khabib needs. With the speed of a viper, Khabib moves to Lesnar's back, his hands locking in a choke. The arena holds its breath as Khabib begins to work his magic. This is where he thrives. This is his world. Lesnar fights it, every muscle straining, his hands digging into Khabib's forearms, trying to break free. But Khabib is relentless. The choke tightens. Lesnar's breathing becomes more labored. For the first time in this fight, Lesnar's strength starts to give way to the pressure. The crowd can see it. The giant is slowing down. His massive frame is fighting against the inevitability of Khabib's control. Lesnar tries to roll, to escape, but Khabib's positioning is perfect. He's a spider, wrapping his opponent tighter and tighter in his web. Lesnar's eyes widen as the realization sets in. He's never been in this position before. No one has ever pushed him this far. The choke is on, and it's only a matter of time. His face flushes, his body twitches as he fights for air, but the more he struggles, the tighter the grip becomes. Khabib's resolve is unshakable. And then, with a final, desperate gasp, Lesnar's body goes limp. The fight is over. Khabib has done it. The undefeated champion has once again proven why no one has been able to beat him. The crowd erupts in disbelief and awe. It wasn't just the technique, the relentless pressure, or the skill that won it for Khabib. It was his heart, his indomitable will to never give up, no matter the odds. He's done what seemed impossible. He's defeated the beast. But the aftermath of this victory is more than just a triumph of technique over power. There's a deeper, unspoken truth that settles over the arena like a heavy fog. Khabib's body, too, bears the marks of battle. His nose is bloodied, his face battered, but his eyes, they still burn with the fire of a champion. For all the praise and accolades he'll receive, Khabib knows that this fight will forever haunt him. For the first time in his career, he was pushed to the very edge. Lesnar, though defeated, will never be forgotten. His strength, his power, was real, and Khabib knows that it's only the beginning of what lies ahead. As the referee raises Khabib's hand in victory, there's an undeniable tension in the air. This fight may be over, but the story isn't. The world has witnessed something rare, a fighter pushed to his limits and forced to dig deeper than ever before. In the end, Khabib stands victorious, but the battle has changed him. The undefeated record remains. But now, more than ever, there's a question that lingers: how much longer can anyone truly hold onto their invincibility? The world watches, waiting, knowing that the next challenge for Khabib, or for any fighter, might be even more dangerous, more unpredictable than the one just fought. The beast has been defeated, but at what cost?